Good day, my friends, and welcome. My name is Blubobobobo, and today's story was inspired by Queen Isabella. Now here I am within Fairhaven, my hometown, and when the Queen came to visit us, I had the honor of telling a story in front of her and her court. And after the story, she told everybody that I also knew the story of how Elephant got his trunk. Now, at the time, I had no idea what this story was, so since the Queen deemed it, I felt it would best if I learned this story. So here, inspired by Queen Isabella, is how the elephant got his trunk. A long time ago, longer now than it seems, Elephant didn't look the way that he does today. Instead of that long, hose-like trunk, he had a short, snout, pig-like nose. Now, he didn't know any different at the time. It's the way it had always been. In order to get something to eat, he'd have to get all the way down on those big elbows and try to eat as much grass as he could. And to get something to drink, he'd have to dunk his entire head under water just to get a sip. Now, as the summer's heat beat down on the savannah, all the watering holes began to dry up, and the herd began to look for more water. As they traveled south looking for more watering holes, they finally came to an old watering hole. Now the herd was so thirsty they all ran forward and began ducking their heads immediately, drinking heartily and heavily. But what they didn't realize was that this watering hole was home to an old crocodile. Now this crocodile had lived there for ages, and he had learned how to slip into the water without even letting the monkeys in the trees know he was there. So when he saw the herd come forward, he slowly and quietly dipped into the water, just his nostrils and his eyes peeking above the water. And as he made his way over to the herd, he saw the big bull elephant and thought that would make a wonderful meal. So quietly swam over, and at the very last second, he snapped down upon the elephant's nose, trying to pull him into the water. Now, Elephant, still being one of the strongest animals in the savannah, began to pull back. But since he was down on those big elbows, he couldn't use all of his strength. So back and forth, the animals pulled in a massive tug-of-war. Crocodile trying to pull Elephant in, Elephant trying to pull Crocodile out. Back and forth, they went for what seemed like ages. Until finally, poor old Crocodile was worn out. He let go of Elephant's nose and went snap right back into his face. The Elephant finally got back up on his big legs, and his nose was so sore, and it hurt, and it was cut. And now the other elephants in the herd, they began teasing him, because now, instead of a short nose, he had a long nose that reached almost all the way to the ground. But once that nose healed, he realized that he no longer had to get down on those big elbows to get something to eat off the ground. He could just reach it with that nose. And now he could reach the top of the trees to get the sweetest of the leaves without having to knock the whole tree down. And to get something to drink, he just dipped that nose in and drank as much as he liked. Eventually, the other elephants began to get jealous. They wanted long trunks themselves. So one by one, they all went down to the old watering hole. And one by one, they got into a massive tug-of-war with poor old Crocodile. And to this day, from what I understand, poor old Crocodile is still hungry. Thank you for listening, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful day.